surprise. After what has felt like too long of being away on here because of that, February slump where nothing is growing in the garden, you're just tucking away yourself along with the garden for the winter for a month basically, and doing things inside. So yes, I have a little surprise to share with you that is not so little anymore. I have been pregnant since August, so all of those late summer, fall, and early winter videos, I was really doing what I think was a good job of hiding my bump, but there's no hiding it anymore. So I'm due in about 3.5 weeks. Perfect little spring edition, along with everything that is growing and blooming. We'll be bringing home a new little sweet girl with us in about 3.5 weeks ish. So today I am so happy to be able to be getting back out in the garden with you guys and doing some chores, showing you what I've been up to. I've done a few things just here and there in the garden that weren't enough to share with you, and also I've been tired because that's what comes with pregnancy. So I'm so looking forward to hanging out with you guys today. Let's go ahead and get started. It is just a beautiful spring day. I have a sweatshirt on right now as to not blind you guys with my wintry skin. And in between videos, I have a tank top on. So I am planning on getting some much needed sun today. Hopefully not too much, but it's just a beautiful day. It is like 69, 68 degrees outside, so it feels great. We're out here in the middle of the day. Won't be able to do this that much in the summer, so I'm gonna take full advantage of it, get some sun, and get some starts in the ground. So about a week to a week and a half ago, I planted all of my cabbage, kale, kohlrabi, and beet starts, and they were beautiful. Emphasis on the were, because we had a rabbit. I just added these on top, but I only had enough for this bed after seeing the destruction that had already started. So that's what most of my cabbage starts looked like when I was putting them out here. Those are doing really well, but you can't see many more because not many more are left. So a rabbit, I'm pretty sure, could have been a squirrel, but we know we have a rabbit problem, came out and devoured my delicious little leafy green babies. So it got rid of what looks to be about 12 of my cabbage starts, down to the nub, and my kale and kohlrabi are completely gone. Like, there's nothing left of them. So very, very disappointing. Very disappointing because I grew all those from seeds. I wish I had shown you them going in the ground because they looked amazing. They were beautiful starts, and little Peter Rabbit just had a delicious little lunch break out here one day apparently. So I've bought some new starts from our local little, there's a little corner stop near our place. We had cabbage and kale, and I bought some cauliflower just to replace what had been taken away. So we're gonna get those in the ground today, but let me show you guys this damage. So this is what's left of my kohlrabi, which I was really excited just to grow. It's just kind of like a funsy grow, and there's just nothing. And it was about 18 of them, and they're as you can see, it's just they're gone. And then the same thing for my kale over here, gone, nothing. Very sad day. I did plant some beets that I had started, but I don't think that they were ready to be out here just yet, so they don't look like they're doing very well, so I don't have much hopes for them. Because I started them in smaller cells and I just don't think they were big enough before I put them out here, and they just look like they're really struggling and also having critters eat them away. So I'll kind of show you my game plan of what to do to maybe prevent this from happening again once I put my other starts in here. But quite a sad little gardener reality to come out to the other morning. Okay guys, this is not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. This is called a green stalk planter, and they had a sale back in January, and I bought me one because they're not necessarily cheap, but they are so great. So I've planted, they are great for growing just like a lot of stuff, leafy greens, herbs. I've planted the top two with strawberries, and this I've heard really helps keep birds from getting your strawberries before, since there's just not a good place for them to kind of land necessarily. And then my plan for the bottom tiers is going to be all of my herbs that I've started inside. So how this works is you don't have to water each tier. You fill up this little basin all the way up to here with water, and it drip irrigates all the way down. And it is just great for extra garden space. If you don't have any in-ground garden space, it's great for patio gardening, and you can just do so much with this. The day this came in, I could have cried. I've just wanted one for a while, and it's purely just to learn growing in a different little space. And it's just so useful for those extra things like herbs that take up a good amount of space when you have a like smaller in-ground garden bed. This is just perfect for that, to help give you more room to grow. And I mean, it gives you so much extra space. So I have strawberries. I have a few more strawberries to plant in here today, so I'll kind of show you how I do that. So I'm just planting in these back three, and we'll get sunlight around the afternoon. So basically, I've already filled up each one with soil. So I just move that, make a little hole, pop out a little strawberry plant. Pop in there. Some shade finally. Okay, so in our like fall videos, I was kind of, and like our seedling videos when we were getting those put in the cells, I kind of talked to you guys a little bit about our plans for the garden this year. So just to reiterate it, our focus is really to try to fully eat all the vegetables and fruits that we eat often from our garden this year, or at least start learning how much of each plant we need to do that, because you just don't know once you get started. So we're growing a lot of storage crops, and I am venturing into growing some fruits and melons for the first time this year. So the strawberry plants are the start of it, and I'm so excited. I already see some like little strawberry buds coming out on them. And I also went ahead and grabbed some blueberry and raspberry bushes and got those planted. And we have a bigger garden than some people are able to have, but it's still small for producing enough to fully eat off of. So a way to save some room and have those blueberry and raspberry bushes is I put them in pots, and they seem to be doing really well so far. And hopefully we will get a plentiful bounty of fruit from them this summer. I eat like a yogurt bowl every day, and it has blueberries, strawberries, and bananas in it. Obviously we can't grow bananas here, but if I can have blueberries and strawberries in that bowl from my own garden, it will just warm my heart and make me so much happier and enjoy it even more every single day by doing that. They're all together right now because we had 3 days of like freezing, like random little cold nights, so they have been covered up. But these are our 2 blueberry plants, and they are just called a sweetheart blueberry. And so the cool thing about them is they actually will set fruit twice a year instead of just once. So even on this one, you can already see it's starting to set some pretty little blooms. So maybe we'll have some blueberries getting started soon. And then this is just one of my rose bushes, and I pruned it back pretty heavily and it's already regrowing, so that's exciting. And then these are our 2 raspberry bushes. Now, I've never been around anybody that's grown raspberries, so I've never seen how these work or like what happens. We've grown blueberries in the past, so I know what to expect. So I'm really curious, and this is just a heritage raspberry breed. So I'm really curious to see how these do and what kind of care they need. But obviously the soil's dry and I watered yesterday. It's a very warm day for them, so I gotta get out here and water all of these again. You saw these when I was showing the cabbage. This is all chamomile right here. So I heavy loaded that one with chamomile seeds that are starting to grow. And then over here is calendula. So I'm growing 2 types of flowers that have medicinal purposes that are growing right now. I have a bunch of others that are inside getting started that I'll share with you later. But calendula is really great for like soothing properties, and so is chamomile. But chamomile I'll be using and keeping specifically for tea. Calendula I'll be drying out and storing also for like salves and like skin remedies, because it's very great for that. Okay, if you guys remember, we planted about 100 onion sets, like starts, and the same amount of garlic, and they are looking so good. These are the funnest things, in my opinion, to harvest, because you don't know what you're getting until you pull it up out of the ground. And I just love stuff like that because it makes it so exciting to see your reward after pulling it up. They are really just doing so great. So you can kind of see the like smaller ones are the onions, since those got put in much later than the garlic, and our garlic are getting really big already. I believe last year we harvested them in June, so they've got a few more months, but they'll start shooting up even more here with all this warm weather getting started. So my plan for today was, because let me tell you, this bump makes it hard, much harder to be out here with no bump. So I just have to change up my plans often and take it much slower and ask for help and be okay with doing that. So it's just hard to ask my husband for help when he comes home from his very manual labor job at the end of the day and ask him to come out here and help me do more. But he's such a great boy. I almost said man. I almost said boy, but I meant man. So great. And he will more than gladly come do that. But I'm gonna plant a few of these starts that need to get in the ground just to go ahead and get a little bit less for him to do. And then I was planning on direct sowing our cucumbers and cucamelons and some flowers today, but that might be a tomorrow thing. We'll see how I'm feeling towards the end of this after putting in a few cabbages. But I went to go get starts to replace the ones the rabbits took. So I went to our little local store, and what's great about local places is they're just awesome people. And he knew that these needed to get in the ground because they were struggling, but putting some fertilizer and getting them in the ground will bring them back to life 100%. So they're just a little sad, but going ahead and getting them in the ground. And so I got these for a deal because he knew that they just needed to get out of these little trays. Really all it is, you can just see that they're starting to yellow a little bit, and one, that's because they're getting too big for these, and two, just lack of nutrition. So they really are not bad at all. So we have these are all cauliflower, just your traditional blue curled kale, and then all of these are 2 varieties of cabbages. One is early Jersey Wakefield, and the other is Stonehead cabbage. So traditional good growing storage cabbages. So we'll get probably our cabbages in the ground, and then I'll show you guys real quick what I'm going to try to do to prevent rabbits from getting these. Okay, so back here by our lovely compost pile, we have a bunch of extra fencing that was bought for these. And it's just rabbit fencing, so perfect to keep those out. So what I'm going to do is just kind of put them up around the garden bed, loosely and lightly, just to kind of enclose it a little bit, and hopefully that will help just keep them out. So I will have Nick help me do that later tonight, and hopefully that solves the problem until these plants can get big enough to where they're not as tasty. So since those holes were already dug, that was so easy. So I think I feel good enough to do this other bed over here. So this is going to be a mixture of my cabbages that I started from Haas Tools, and I believe they were Stonehead cabbages. And then I just left the tags in just so I kind of knew which ones were what, because it's just all mixed in together. But so I at least could identify what ones look similar to that, because that is the early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. But that looks much better. Some are still just a little puny from where rabbits did get them, but I'm just going to be hopeful that those will come back, because those don't look bad enough to pull up. So I'm going to get them all covered, pots on either side, to where hopefully, I've done this before and it worked, for hopefully the critters leave them alone. Okay, on to the completely demolished bed where I need to plant all those starts. So we're going to breeze through this. I'm gonna get it done, and hopefully my husband can help me get that fencing put up tonight so that nothing gets to it overnight when they're all nice and dewy and cold and fresh for the rabbits. Alrighty, I can't believe we did it, but we did. Those are all tucked in there. We've got 3 rows of kale, 2.5 rows of stonehead cabbage, and 2.5 rows of cauliflower. So I will cover those in their soil, and then I'm going to fertilize them with some liquid fertilizer when I water them, and then we'll get this area wrapped up to where hopefully nothing bothers it. Just so you guys know, this is the liquid fertilizer I use. It is very concentrated, so you just do a tablespoon of it in a gallon water. So I'll put that in a a watering can and put it all over that. Alrighty, I'm officially hot, officially tired, so we're gonna call it a day. I'm gonna direct sow those seeds tomorrow or Wednesday. There's no rush. So, and I'll kind of let you guys know all about that when I do it. So welcome back. It is officially spring, and I'm so excited to be back in the garden with you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today.